Today brings a bit less warmth with breezy conditions, sunshine and some clouds at times, and a high of 70, followed by mainly clear skies tonight and a low of 49, ahead of a mostly sunny day tomorrow with a high of 67. Clouds return Tuesday along with showers late in the day or especially at night with a high of 69. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Brought to you by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, your Pratt Pack flying solo for the first part of the show today. We've got lots to get to, and I want to begin with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Today, Paul Skeens, 3-4 in the year, tries to get back to 500 as the Bucs are taking on Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Ballpark. First pitch, 135. But there was some good news that happened with the Pirates this week, and I want to focus on that, and that's Gene Lamont. You know, one of my old friends from the glory days as far as me doing Pirate Sunday for 10-plus years at the beautiful ballpark that is PNC Park. Look, I've done so many things in my broadcasting career that I wouldn't even know where to begin, but it's each and everything that I've done along the way that has been that secret sauce, the recipe for, I believe, a pretty successful career. But the Pirate organization has been a big part of my life for a number of reasons. I know a lot of people on the inside working and continuing to work and do great things from the front office to down on the field, in the PR department, and of course those physicians at the Allegheny Health Network who keep our Pirates up and running. So this is a labor of love. I grew up loving my Pirates, listening to KDKA Radio, and of course Jim Leland happening to be a good friend of mine, and as well many times was the skipper when Lamont was on that staff, along with people like Rich Donnelly. So I really do care about Gene Lamont. But one of the things that I've been saying for the longest time, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, I think sometimes we think too much, everything in the way of sports. We spend too much time on the X and O's and the algorithms and the technology and trying to utilize the super tools of the superhighway that is cyberspace to try to actually figure out how to make it a better game or a better player on the field of athletics. When in reality, sometimes you just have to find those who are blessed to have the God-given talent from the first breath that they take, basically put the ball in their hand and say, go play baseball. And you as a manager being around the game a long time, looking at particular skill sets and knowing who has what, maybe a little bit better than somebody else on that team. And when you put your team together, you put them in the position on the field that suits their talents the best. And not because of some algorithms, but because of what you have seen, what their track record is, what they have been successful at, their strengths, their weaknesses. And it works. If you look at some of the success in Major League Baseball in recent years, a lot of the teams are managed by gentlemen who've been in the game a long time. Bochy, Boone, and others. These guys really have been around. They've walked the walk. They've been a part of the game forever. And they've seen it transform into the game that it is today with superheroes and super athletes like Aaron Judge. But they also kind of grew up in the golden era, too, watching some of those who had God-given talent like a Barry Bonds, Roberto Clemente. Look, nobody really sat down and worked algorithms or built charts about what Barry Bonds did that made him a great five-tool player when he played in Pittsburgh. They just knew he had a sweet swing. And even Barry Bonds says you just have to think about the ball from the pitcher's hand into the catcher's mitt. You somehow have to put the bat out in front of the plate and just try to meet that ball. Just as that catcher is getting ready to squeeze the ball, you've got to make contact on the fat end, which is the barrel of the bat. It sounds simple because baseball really is simple. It's about throwing, catching, and hitting. It's that simple, and with a little speed and agility, running the base paths. And if there was ever an example of someone who overachieved by just playing the game with raw ability, was Pete Rose. And, of course, that story in just a moment. But Gene Lamont coming back to Pittsburgh. I've said this for the longest time, and sadly, Derek Shelton didn't get a chance to have this for himself. I was saying he needed it. You need someone who is seasoned, understands the game, and is just a good baseball guy to sit and to help and to give you an idea of skill set and what works best. Not looking at how many times they've been in this position and how many hits they got against a left-hander or right-hander and pitch count and all the things that we seem to talk about and even waste time on the airwaves. It's about a diving catch, hitting in the clutch, someone that you know because of their skill set, they play right field better than center field, or someone who can come from left field like Willie Stargell, a big power hitter, cleanup hitter, and with his grace and agility, that skill set, he played first base where he became a perennial Gold Glove player there as well. But now Gene Lamont will give a chance to others to see what the game is all about. It's about hitting, throwing, and catching. It's baseball. And Donnie Kelly, who really, this is what it is. It's such a great match when you think about it. An old school player with a young heart. Here was a guy that spent over 10 years in the big leagues and was a student of the game. Even Jim Leland said, might not have been a Hall of Famer, but there wasn't anything he couldn't do or wouldn't do. And one of the things that I took away from his resume when he signed on for this job, and I hope he gets a little bit longer than just this year, and at least they're not calling him an interim manager, and I think Gene Lamont can make him a great manager, and he could find a home here in Pittsburgh if this Pirate organization finally starts to turn the bend. Are you ready? He has played every position in Major League Baseball. One of the things that has just honked me off for years, well, he's never played first base. Well, he's never played shortstop. Enough already. These are players that were shining in Little League and travel teams long before they got to the big leagues. Why? Because of their athletic ability, their skill set. What helps them rise to the occasion to be Major League Baseball players? Because they're natural athletes. And Donnie Kelly has played every position. So with that skill set and the wise baseball knowledge of Gene Lamont, this could be one of the best things this organization has ever done. Now, I don't know if it was Bob Nutting saying, hey, we got to do something. We really look bad here. We have to show the fans and maybe bring back some of that rich history, and maybe lightning will strike, and maybe we'll be able to get on the right track. Or maybe it was Ben Cherington saying, you know, I got to do something. This guy I got in there now, I got to give him every chance to win. Not so much with the players on the field, but somebody chirping in his ear who can teach him and mold him in what the Pittsburgh Pirate baseball mentality and history is all about. And if there is anybody out there who knows the history of Pirate baseball, it's Gene Lamont. So that's great news. Couldn't be happier. And I'm telling you, to you young buccos, like Brian Reynolds home into the ninth yesterday in that losing Cubs against Philadelphia, we need him to hit. Cabrian Hayes, we need him to hit. And we need O'Neill Cruz to quit getting the bumps and bruises that keeps him out of the lineup. He's got to be healthy. He's a hulk of an athlete right now who physically has built himself up, and he is ready to take the next step. But the reason this team has to hit, the last thing you want is Paul Skeens to start slip-sliding away as far as his belief of being here in Pittsburgh and winning. He's 3-4 now with an ERA of 2.36, and I'm so glad that the media is not saying, oh, what has happened to Paul Skeens? Was he a one-hit wonder? Do not do that to me. He's got every makings of being a Hall of Famer, great Pirate for many years to come, at least to 2030. But the thing that will give him a little bit of a pat on the back more than even Gene Lamont or Donnie Kelly singing his praises is that the young lineup of the Pittsburgh Pirates who could grow into mature members of Major League Baseball with him in the rotation, they need to start hitting the baseball and do it repeatedly. Give this guy at least a chance into the seventh inning to have a real opportunity to win a game, as opposed to this team either trying to catch up or completely not giving him anything and ending up 0 for on the scoreboard after 9 innings. So give him some confidence today. That's something we desperately need. Now, the other thing, long overdue. I'm so glad it happened. I wish Pete Rose would have had an opportunity to be here to see it. Shoeless Joe Jackson, that's a great story, too, for those of us who love the movie Field of Dreams, right? But in reality, that's way back in the rearview mirror. But Pete Rose, for the majority of us, baby boomers, 40s, 50s, 60s, we remember Charlie Hustle, the guy that overcame so many insurmountable odds. Too short, no one signed him, free agent, give me a tryout, I'll do whatever I need to do. But he was a scrappy kid that played every game, whether it was the first game in a rain delay in April, the searing heat of August, or in a pennant race in September. Even in an all-star game, and ask Ray Fosse, the catcher who he leveled in Cleveland, and his career was never the same. No one could understand why, and Pete Rose was simply going, well, why not? Isn't that the way you play the game of baseball? We need to start playing this game with reckless abandon in Pittsburgh, but also that childlike mentality that made Pete Rose so famous. I mean, let's face it, who would risk sliding headfirst every single time, even at first base, if it meant you would get a hit? Pete Rose did it, love of the game, but he also realized the opportunity and the gift of playing in the big leagues and why every time you stepped up to the plate, you had to make the most of it. And more times than not, he did. And as Nolan Ryan said, if there was anybody who ever deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, it's Pete Pete Rose, because when you walk into Cooperstown, just about every record you could ever imagine with that Louisville Slugger in your hand, Pete Rose holds that record. So all in all, even though I would have loved to have seen the Pirates win more, some good news. And remember where you heard it. On this Sunday, Gene Lamont being back on the bench with a young baseball mind, Don Kelly, who's done it all in the big leagues and understands first to third, shortstop, outfield, and even behind home plate. This is going to be the start of something very interesting. I'm not saying they're going to win the pennant, but I think with Gene Lamont and Don Kelly and that pairing, that recipe for success on this Sunday sauce day, never going to be sweeter. And I really think Don Kelly will be thanking Gene Lamont 5 years down the road. All right, we're going to come back. We still have the PGA to talk about, the championship, Quail Hollow. Leading by 3, the world's number 1, Scottie Scheffler. You got to have a dominant player in the game of golf to make it interesting, and he is doing that. Devin Gee, the pro at Oakmont, will be with us 1 week from today in this time slot, getting us ready for the U.S. Open. My old friend's going to drop by. We're going to talk about the NHL, the NBA playoffs, and, of course, lots of NFL stuff to get to as well. But when we come back, don't look now, but basketball on the professional level is starting to supersede everything in the world of sports, even the great collegiate game of basketball. That's moments away with your Pratt Pack today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, KDKA.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
93% of Pennsylvanians killed in a car crash while unbelted could have survived if they just buckled up. One simple click, a second of your time. It's the difference between making it home to your loved ones or not making it home at all. Whether you're a driver or a passenger, make the life-changing choice to wear a seatbelt. Every drive, every time. It's not just the law, it's common sense. Buckle up, PA. Learn more at PennDOT.pa.gov/safety.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Brought to you by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, Greg is on his way. He'll be with us after the 11:30 update of news with Rob Taylor. Still to come, Ted Arnaud, lots to get to in the NFL. And again, as we count down the weeks to the U.S. Open, we will have Devin Gee, my longtime friend. He is the pro, the guy in charge, getting it all done. 1 week from today, talking all about the U.S. Open. But today, of course, the big story in golf, the PGA Championship. And if you haven't heard, Scottie Scheffler, 65 yesterday, is leading by 3 shots heading into the final day at Quail Hollow. But something else has been happening in the wonderful world of sports that has really piqued my interest. All of a sudden, the NBA has become more than relevant. And let me tell you something. I love the rich history of everything in the way of sports. But sadly, what I have noticed more and more in the NBA in recent years, it's more about what MJ did and Magic and Bird as opposed to what has been happening in the game. Now, you did flirt with success last year with the Boston Celtics, and they truly have a great roster. Tatum going down with the Achilles, I think, was their Achilles heel, no pun intended, and him not coming back next year, new ownership, a $300 million payroll. It may be the last that we see Boston competing for their 19th championship in the next couple of years. But this is what has happened that literally makes my heart jump for joy. Those of us who have loved the game, one more time, dipping back in history to the Super 70s when Oscar Robinson, then Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, and others were making a name for themselves. the New York Knicks are more than relevant again, and now they're getting ready to take on the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Final, first time in a quarter of a century. You realize the last time this team won a championship was over a half a century ago. And we all remember when Willis Reed ripped off the warm-up jersey, came out of the locker room, and as they say, the rest is history. Bradley, DeBusschere, I mean, that was a moment that will be etched in my mind forever, but I don't want to live in the past. I want to think about Towns, and I want to think about Tim Thibodeau and what he has done with that defense, and Jalen Brunson, who is playing lights out, maybe the greatest clutch player in the history of the Knicks, and they've had guys like Bernard King and Patrick Ewing. So it's not like they haven't had clutch players, but not like this guy. And I know right now, Halliburton in Indiana is really making a lot of people think that there may be more talent there than many people have thought, even so much so calling Halliburton overrated. But I have a feeling the Knicks are going to get beyond that and get into the NBA Final, which would be great for television, great for the fans of the game that is the NBA like me. But on the other side of that Mississippi, you've got that Western Conference, and you've got a seventh and deciding game coming up later tonight. Best big man in the business, Djokovic, of course, the Joker. Denver, the Nuggets, who have battled back to a seventh game, and they're getting ready to take on OKC. Some say the most exciting team in the NBA. But this is what I love. Waiting for them on the other side is a guy who they affectionately call Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. And in all my years of covering and watching basketball, the guy is 6'3" on a good day, but he plays like he's 7 foot. I have never seen anyone with that agility, that type of motor, and that, well, fearless attitude that he will go into the paint, the land of the Giants, take an elbow to the head, and keep going towards the rim. And in many cases, this guy, 6'3" on a good day, plays above the rim, will go in for an offensive rebound, will go in for a defensive rebound, will go in to block a shot. He will pull up and pop the three. He'll drive into the paint, put it up, and drop it in over the iron with either his right or left hand with ease and reckless abandon. And something that I think is missing in the game that Bird was so good at, you need trash talk. You need somebody picking up that garbage pail once or twice each and every game in your face, respectively, and working the crowd. Because when you think about it, that's the whole fan experience of what sports is about, right? It's the good guy, the bad guy. And what we have witnessed at the historic Madison Square Garden over the last 72 hours, and how, for the most part, orderly fans, even though they spilled into the streets of the Big Apple and made their presence felt, they made it very clear. We may have the Jets, we may have the Giants, we may have the Yankees, and we may have the Mets. But when it comes to basketball, you can forget the Brooklyn Nets. It's the New York Knickerbockers. The history of that team, long overdue. Now you have got it relevant to the point where everybody from all walks of life, young and old, walking around even here in Pittsburgh in New York Knicks gear. Because this is the phenomenon has swept the East Coast as much as it has the country. And with Cooper Flagg, how in the world they got that pick in Dallas is beyond me, but they did. And they've already said, Nico Harris and company, we're not trading away that pick. I would have loved to have seen him come on the East Coast, but I can settle for him going to Dallas. Just imagine, in that conference, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Edwards, the future is bright. Now that Steph Curry and company are going to be aging out, it's going to be ripe for the picking. And when you think of the New York Knicks and the talent they have, sky is the limit. And I think basketball is going to become more exciting moving forward than it has been in a generation. And I will not hear announcers go back to Showtime. I will not hear them talk about the best big man in the business. Was it Bill Walton or Will Chamberlain? We can talk about the players who are current and playing now. And as much as I love Michael Jordan's name has popped up recently because he's going to be a special contributor to the NBC NBA coverage. Well, I will tune in for that. Even if it's 2-minute commentary, I will tune in for that. But I'm telling you, as I look at Anthony Edwards, I'm looking at the face of the NBA, and more importantly, I'm looking at the rebirth of the National Basketball Association. And why is basketball so successful? Adam Silver's and marketing has been a key. They are doing such an incredible job. And yes, an $11 billion TV contract is what they're staring at right now. That's newfound money. Can you imagine what could happen? And remember where you heard this. It's going to leapfrog possibly Major League Baseball. Hockey, It's already above hockey, and it actually could start to threaten, maybe not in my lifetime, but if they continue down this path, maybe even go neck and neck with the National Football League. Look, it's exciting. People love it, and I don't think I have felt so much juice in basketball since maybe Bird and Magic. Bottom line is, I don't think we'll be thinking about Bird and Magic when we get down to the final. Anthony Edwards, he likes to play with nothing but relentless contentment only when he sticks the dagger into the heart of his opponent. He doesn't want to just beat someone. He wants to step on them to make sure that everyone knows who did it and doesn't want to let them up. I think it's great drama. I think it's exciting. But the biggest storyline in all of sports, and you can put it all in there, even the Steelers, and whether or not Aaron Rodgers will come here, there are more people thinking about what the New York Knicks did here in Western Pennsylvania, whether you believe it or not, than just about anything happening here in sports. Now, the other thing about basketball, why I'm pleading to the WNBA, if you can go to Toronto, Canada, you surely can consider Pittsburgh as another place to locate and expand. Did you see the game yesterday? Caitlin Clark, Indiana, and Angel Reese of Chicago, the Sky. Now, they got blown out by Indiana. She had a triple-double, meaning Caitlin Clark, but she had a foul that she simply said, look, you either want to give up the short 2 points or you want to, do something to prevent it. It's aggressive basketball. Well, Angel Reese didn't like it. She was up in her face. Didn't come to blows, but the blood got boiling, and Caitlin Clark very quietly walked away. Now, whether you like that type of play or not is one thing, but if you want to make ratings and fill up stadiums and you want to fill up arenas, that's the way you do it. So you got the good girl, bad girl, right? And that's what it appeared yesterday. But in reality, it was the good girl who was instigating all the trouble. But the thing that I have been watching over the last couple of days, because the WNBA has hit full stride, 20,000 fans. Now, June 7th, Chicago, the Sky, are going to entertain Indiana, so it's the rematch. The thing is already sold out. And it's still, a week and a half of May before we're done? Actually, 2 weeks from today? Come on. That, to me, is what sports is all about. And it means there'll be more shoe deals and opportunities for young players to cash in. And the biggest story when it comes to basketball, here it is, and it's not on the court. It's something that I broke on the air the other night, literally moments after the Wall Street Journal story was printed in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Dick's Sporting Goods spending $2.5 billion to buy a company that makes $8 billion a year and is in countries all around the world, Foot Locker. And Mr. Stack, the executive chairman, said, we're going to leave them stand alone. Let them do what they do. So that means more shoe deals, more opportunities for athletes. And when you wear those shoes, if you're not doing it for style, you're winning on the basketball court. That's what your intention is. Basketball is bigger than ever, and it's nice to see it relevant again on the big stage. All right, news coming up with Rob Taylor, and then we're back at it on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. It's your Pratt Pack today on KDKA.
Vote Julie Capone for judge of the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. Julie has spent decades protecting our seniors who've been victimized by fraud, theft, physical abuse. She pioneered home visits to seniors to get them through the trauma. It's no wonder Julie Capone is highly recommended by the Allegheny County Bar Association, endorsed by the Allegheny County Democratic Committee, the Allegheny Labor Council, numerous unions, and political and community leaders. Vote Julie Capone for judge of the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas.
This is Julie Capone. I'd be honored to have your vote on May 20th.
Paid for by friends of Julie Capone.
This Memorial Day, give your home the protection it deserves and save big on your new roof. Contact Home Genius Exteriors now and get 50% off materials. Plus, no payments till 2026 and take an extra $500 off. And all military members receive an additional 10% discount. Call Home Genius Exteriors at 855-UR-GENIUS to schedule your free roof and attic inspection today. That's 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. Home Genius Exteriors, the genius choice in roofing. See website for details.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. Apply now and save with no application fee. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services, achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life, your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
It is 65 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 11:30. I'm Rob Taylor. A man remains in critical condition after being hit by a train late Saturday night. It happened on the south side around South 12th Street and Wesley. That man suffered a cut to the head, and Norfolk Southern, the company that runs the train that struck the man, is leading the investigation into that incident. Also overnight, Pittsburgh police say a 13-year-old was shot multiple times in the Southside Slopes. Happened on Magdalen Street near Oporto Street. The teen was found with gunshot wounds to the chin and chest. 13-year-old transported to the hospital in critical but stable condition. No word on any suspect descriptions. Pope Leo XIV's inauguration mass was held in St. Peter's Square today. CBS News reporter Sabrina Castafranco has more details.
Pope Leo XIV first made his debut tour of the square in an open-top Pope-mobile, blessing a cheering crowd, waving American, Peruvian, and Vatican flags. Then during the Mass, in his homily, Leo said he wanted to be a servant to the faithful through the two dimensions of the papacy, love and unity.
KDK Radio News Time, 11:31. Next updates at noon. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh. News Radio KDK.
I'm with Rocco Florio of AirPro Heating and Cooling, a trusted HVAC company that carries quality Bryant products and serves the entire Pittsburgh area. Rocco, what's up on prices for furnaces and air conditioning equipment?
Larry, it's best for people to purchase now, as equipment prices are going up in the coming months. AirPro takes pride in our prices. We are lower than the competition and provide financing options and long warranties.
Call AirPro Heating and Cooling today at 800-749-0642. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Leading with support and a proven commitment to public safety. Represent how Sheriff Kevin Krause effectively serves Allegheny County. Paul Martino here supporting the re-election of Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause. Kevin's respect and trust from the labor community and unanimous endorsements by city, county, and state public safety and first responders are key reasons to re-elect him as sheriff.
I'm Sheriff Kevin Krause. I'd be honored to earn your vote on May 20th.
Paid for by friends of Kevin Krause for sheriff.
At Penn West University, we're making college make sense again for people who maybe thought college wasn't the answer. We're making college practical with programs tied to in-demand jobs that prepare you for success right away. We're making college accessible by breaking down barriers and offering more choices. We're making college approachable with faculty who understand where you're coming from and help you get where you're going. At Penn West, we're making college valuable again for people just like you. Learn more at pennwest.edu.
Judge Michelle Santacola is running for a seat on the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. With decades of legal experience and currently serving as magisterial district judge, Michelle Santacola has always applied fairness and integrity to the thousands of cases she has presided over. She is highly recommended by the Allegheny County Bar Association and widely endorsed by various labor organizations.
I'm Judge Michelle Santacola. I'd be honored to earn your vote on May 20th.
Paid for by friends of Michelle Santacola.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos. Fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
The weekend ends on a breezy note this afternoon. Clouds and a little sun at times, high 70. Clearing tonight, low 48. Sun tomorrow, 67. More clouds Tuesday near 70. Rain then Tuesday night. For AccuWeather, I'm Bill Degger, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, we'll be back to it on Monday. Can't wait. We'll get the week started right. And, yeah, so join me, 2 to 6, Colin Dunlap right here, KDKA.
He is here, Mr. Greg Diolis. Of course, Milton Honey Sports Management, Diolis Law. A massive comeback. Journalism wins the Preakness Stakes. Tell me about this story you were whetting my appetite with moments ago.
All right, so we're with the family talking yesterday, and the Preakness is about to start. It's 10 minutes from the Preakness. Was not in the same place where my future son-in-law is, and they're running the lineups of the horses. Number 9 in the race, his name was Gosger, Gosger, I believe. Mm-hmm. I had a client, made him the highest paid right tackle in the history of the NFL, Gosder Sherilis, right? As soon as I see this horse's name, I'm like, I got to bet on this horse. So send Trev a text, hey, Trev, you got to put 50 on Gosger for me. He sends me a copy of the receipt right before the race starts. I got the $50 bet in, right? The horse is in the 9 slot. There's only 9 horses in the race. It breaks from the post. It sits right in second position, and it runs in second position the entire race until about maybe 1/4 of the race is left, like the far turn. Takes the lead in the far turn. Comes around in the stretch, it gets into the top of the stretch. It's got the lead. Journalism is stuck in between a bunch of horses, and then like as if there was a linebacker blitz called. This horse gets boxed in and gets bounced around by 3 other horses, almost gets knocked down. If there's a statistics for in football, you have yards after contact. Journalism would lead the league in yards after contact because it almost got knocked down. It's about 3 lengths back with about, I don't know, maybe 300 yards left in the race. And then it's like somebody shot it out of a cannon, and the stupid thing wins the race. My horse, which went off at 10-1, ends up in second place. And once the crash happened, I'm thinking, I'm starting to think, what am I going to do with this $500? I got a new suit on. I had the money spent in the 10 seconds it took that stupid horse to catch up and knock my guy into second place. But what a really good run by journalism. Very, very impressive horse.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get back to the Pirates because you were not here for my sizzling opening commentary. Gene Lamont, I didn't see that coming. I'm happy, but I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and I guess Gene must have coached with Leland when they were they were managing Donnie Kelly. So there must have been a relationship formed there. Mm-hmm. And good news is it looks like maybe Donnie had some freedom to kind of shape his managerial or coaching staff, which maybe, most everybody in the world thinks that if Donnie Kelly is still there, he will bring Neil Walker out of the broadcast booth down to become his bench coach. There's a lot of baseball knowledge in that family.
All right, so here's the other thing. And my former producer, who now produces on The Fan, is a talent in his own right, Austin Bechtel. I saw a story that he had written in Yahoo Sports talking about some of the top 100 players happening to be Pittsburgh Pirates. And he mentioned Bubba Chandler, who you and I met during Pirate Fest.
Yes.
Him sitting down, I didn't realize he was 6'3". I mean, he's a big young man, but the guy, 26 games, 23 starts between AA, Altoona, and Indy, could be actually coming up with the Pirates sooner than later. So I heard this walking down the hallway here at Odyssey the other day. I don't know who it was, Andrew Fittiponi or someone, saying maybe trade Mitch Keller. And I started thinking, boy, do I really want to do that? But this team really needs somebody to do something in this lineup. Reynolds homers yesterday in the ninth, and people were thinking it's like the second coming. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one game. Cabrian Hayes, forget it, not happening. O'Neill Cruz banged up again. They got to do something. Horowitz back in the lineup yesterday. Nice to see him with the Pirates. I want to see more. But would you even consider trading Mitch Keller?
And there's nobody on the Pirates organization that's untradeable other than Skeens, in my opinion. And everybody's talking about, that maybe that would be the best thing to do is to also trade him. But yeah, I wouldn't be actively seeking something. But if somebody came after him with trade baits, especially if you look at it, and I think it was Austin that was on the Fan early this morning talking about that just the possibility that you're talking about. And one of the aspects of it is you should be getting Jones back shortly. You should be getting Chandler up from the minor leagues. So now you got Skeens, Jones, Chandler. You don't even have room for Keller, really, if you want to have a couple of lefties in your rotation, if you got Bailey Falter in there. So, maybe it makes sense. You'd have to get somebody who's willing to eat the contract, although that contract is not an unreasonably high contract. But I think Keller's one of your best guys. He's really a consistent number two. Has done a real nice job for the Bucks. You can't blame really hardly anything on the pitching, although this Phillies lineup's pretty good. Yeah, they're beating us up pretty consistently.
Yeah, they are pretty good, and I do like the Phillies. In Citizen Bank Ballpark today, Paul Skeens, 3-4, 2.36 ERA. Hopefully the bats will come to light. But this Austin article, and that's probably why he was talking about Keller today, but some of the other guys he talked about, Thomas Harrington was one of them. He talked about Tamar Johnson. And who's the other guy he talked about here? Hunter Barco. Just give me some of your thoughts. These are the players of the Pirates in the top 100 of the MLB prospects.
Well, Barco has kind of come out of nowhere, but then he got hurt the other night. I haven't heard the follow-up from that, but he was like in the middle of his third inning of a game and in the middle of a hitter, and they took him out, and he was shaking his arm as he walked off the mound. So that's never a good sign. I heard Noah Hiles talking about that earlier in the week, that he was at that game and saw Barco kind of walk off with an injury, and I have not heard whether that's leading us to Tommy John surgery or not. Hopefully not. But if that's, this with Barco also being another guy coming up, you have an embarrassment of riches as far as the pitching staff is concerned, and maybe you can deal that for some bats. That would be a good thing.
Something really strange happening here right now with Gene Lamont, and I was saying that they should have hired Jim Leland. We've been talking about this for a long time. Just old baseball guys, not because of chronologically how old they are, but how they really watch the game, scout the game, just the simple basics of baseball. Well, Neil Walker, of course, Donnie Kelly's married to his sister. He may be the bench coach next year. And one thing about Major League Baseball, you look at the great managers, they had good Major League careers like a Terry Francona, but not great careers. Leland, basically was a AAA catcher on a good day. Terry Francona, 11 years, lifetime average, 275. Neil Walker had a solid career, had a bright couple of years, but for the most part, just a career major leaguer. But if Neil Walker becomes a manager, and I've said this before, in the future, I wouldn't be surprised. I actually think, with all due respect to Donnie Kelly, I think Neil Walker could be his bench coach for a while, but I could actually see Neil Walker becoming a manager in Major League Baseball someday.
Yeah, I mean, the problem would be that he has been kind of away from the game for a while now. Not so far away that he hasn't been watching baseball, but he hasn't been involved in the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of what's going on each day to kind of make sure that how you run an organization in the best fashion possible. But he's been around the game so long, and his dad was a player, so he was able to watch it from that aspect of it. So, I I could see Neil Walker becoming a manager, but I'm really liking what Donnie Kelly did. I was teasing last week that the argument to get thrown out of that second game that he managed was contrived, but now he's done it again. And the second time he did it, it wasn't contrived, and you could see why he did it. It was definitely a swing, and somebody barked from the bench and gets kicked out of the game. And then I love when the manager has that happen, and he's got that fast run out there and to get in the umpire's face. And there had to have been something a little bit earlier than that going on with that third base umpire, because it was a really quick fire.
Just remember, though, there was a guy who was a broadcaster and still is, who many people wanted to succeed Jim Leyland, Bob Walk. And playing the game and calling baseball and being around baseball is just as important as being on the bench. So I think Neil Walker could get ramped up early. And remember about what Donnie Kelly did. What did the Fonz used to say? You have to have at least one time punched somebody in the face and somebody saw it, and the rest you can live off of your reputation. So hopefully it'll work out for Donnie Kelly.
I didn't know the Fonz had said that. I thought you were going to say sit on it, Potsy.
No. He's 80 years old now. You believe that? Henry Winkler's 80 years old.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
It happens to the best of us.
All right, still trying to jump those sharks. All right, listen, we're going to take a short break. We got Quail Hollow in mind. Don't forget Devin Gee, my buddy, the pro, Oakmont. 1 week from today joins Greg and I on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. We'll talk a little bit of NBA, a little bit of NHL. I kind of wrapped all that up in the last segment, but I want to get back to that a little bit. And then it's wall-to-wall NFL. Lots of things happening, and the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to put this roster together. Are they doing enough? That's next on KDKA. Stay with us.
The KDKA Mobile News Fleet is driven by Jim Shorkey Kia, North Huntington and Wexford. JimShorkeyKia.com.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Book your stay at the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino. Enjoy free valet parking and breakfast while being right in the heart of all the action. Whether it's a weekend getaway or a staycation, they have you covered. Book today at thelandinghotelpgh.com. Registration is now open for the 2025 Richard S. Caligari City of Pittsburgh Great Race, presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. One great weekend takes place the last Saturday and Sunday of September. From the 5K to the 10K to the Dollar Bank Junior Great Race, there's a start line for everyone. Details at KDKARadio.com. If you're over 60 and looking for a weight loss program built specifically for you, Awaken 180 is your solution with Awaken 180 Golden, a new 1 to 3 month program for fast weight loss tailored to those over 60. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Hey folks, NASCO Roofing, the region's roofing leader, continues to exceed customer expectations. Carol from Pittsburgh praised NASCO Roofing for their quality workmanship and the timely manner NASCO completed her new roof. She loved how friendly and easy NASCO Roofing was to work with. NASCO has satisfied thousands like Carol. Get NASCO on your roof next. Call NASCO Roofing, 412-373-2000, 412-373-2000. Most jobs done in a day. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing, NASCO.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this important announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-384-7878, 800-384-7878, 800-384-7878.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Brought to you by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Birthday wishes for your dad-in-law.
Yeah, my man Carmen Gonot turned the big double eights. Congratulations and happy birthday, Pop.
Happy birthday, Carm. All right, listen, Rick Talk at the Penguin should have hired him. that's going to come back to haunt him. He was the best coach out there. They needed him. And the other sad thing is Dallas upended the Jets, so we're down to one Canadian team left in the playoffs. I really want to see. Come on, I mean,
what are you trying to start trade wars?
Gotta beat the Panthers. They won it last year. We need one more Canadian team. I was talking about basketball, and I went on a rant in the second frame today. Just incredible publicity right now. They're doing everything right, and with the Knicks winning, I don't know if you saw any of that footage of the people pouring into the streets of New York. That was absolutely breathtaking. Man.
Well, what they were winning by 40 points in the third quarter. That was a mauling that they put on the Celtics. So, and the other thing with the Celtics is Tatum blows his Achilles, right? That's going to roll into next season.
You know, being that you had to kind of put off getting here today, I was going to call Dr. Mayo and see if he could have jumped on with me, but I decided to roll solo. There seems like there's a lot of these Achilles injuries now, or maybe it's just me, but I remember when it happened to Danny. They actually made the apparatus so, like a bit of a brace to make his foot have like a spring, so because he couldn't basically move his foot. And I have an ankle fusion, and I know exactly what he's talking about. You have a frozen foot from your ankle joint to your foot, so you can't bend it up and down, can't get up on your tippy toes. But for the most part, it's like an aging player, like an Aaron Rodgers. But, man, these guys are in their early 30s and 20s, and it seems like, Watson did it twice. What's going on with that?
It's an odd injury because you see it happen, and it's almost like the whole foot just kind of becomes discombobulated. And it's not like something you can train to strengthen. It's just a tendon that if you just turn the wrong way, twist the wrong way, something pops and then it goes. And when it rips, it's surgery automatically. You're not going to try to rehab and get that better. And it's a 9 month to 1 year return process. So Tatum's not going to be the same for a good while. That's going to really impact on the Celtics, who they've got tons of talent anyway. They'll probably be all right, especially early in the season next year. But you won't see him at full strength until really the playoffs next year.
So I saw an interview with Scott Burrows. He, of course, that agent who has broke the hearts of many teams throughout his lifetime. Is he what I appeared him to be in this interview? He seems very just cold. He could care less who likes him or not.
I think he's like Ye. I think he wants to look like he's always mean mugging. He doesn't want anybody to like him. It's not his thing. He doesn't want anybody to get along. His whole drilling into all of his clientele is we don't do contract extensions. We only go to free agency, and then we'll talk to another team. Until you have other people in the bidding process, you don't ever accept it. You don't do a hometown discount. You don't do something that helps the prior team. You only get to free agency, and then you look to the open market. So that's his whole persona. I don't know what he's like individually, but his whole persona in his negotiating life is just squeeze every possible dollar out of everything you can get.
What happens if they get a salary cap?
That's not going to kill him. He's still, his clientele is at the upper echelon. The question is going to be, will the salary cap be a restraint on individual contracts, or will it just be a cap on the teams, in general, like football, as opposed to basketball?
All right. Let's take Tim in here, but we'll get to golf. We have to wait till next hour. We'll do that, but I want to get Tim. He's been waiting in Penn Hills. Tim, you're on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.
Hey, Rock, too bad Achilles' mother didn't name him Fred for your Fred tendon. But you're talking about Scott Boras, and Greg mentioned about not trading Skeens. There was somebody, I don't know if he was from MLB or...
we were talking about not trading Keller.
Right. Well, yeah, but he said that in 2 years he could see the Pirates
trade.
Yeah.
I could see that, too, if not sooner.
No, but you stole my thunder. I was going to mention Bob Walk. Since you said him, what about John Wayner?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
scrappy guys make good managers.
And you mentioned the salary cap. From what I'm hearing, the other owners are upset with Nutting because he's not spending the luxury tax money. He's just putting it in his pocket.
Yeah, there was an article about that in one of the national papers about him padding his pockets. I don't know. I still think there's enough on this team to be adequate, if not winning more than losing, but it's just heart-wrenching. And I'll tell you, not that I don't really want the whole team to shine, but when you have a guy who was plastered across, every baseball magazine, newspaper article, Paul Skeens, Rookie of the Year, second coming of the best And now it's just like 3-4, 2.36. And I know it wasn't all him, but that can't do a lot for his ego and mentality, and it's going to make the decision a lot easier if he does get the opportunity to leave or even maybe say, look, I want out of here. So it's sad to see. It's just sad to see.
I mean, we're lucky the Rockies are in the league because without them, we'd be the worst team.
Listen, if I'm Bud Black, I'm doing cartwheels. I'm glad I'm out of that. That's horrible.
What happened to the Orioles? Weren't the Orioles like the best team in baseball a year and a half ago?
Yep.
Last year.
Yep.
Yeah, and all of a sudden their manager, what did he do? Forget how to manage?
I think these players have one-hit wonders, couple of good years, and then one of the toughest.
Yeah, but why can't we get that?
I know.
Give us one.
Well, I thought we had it with McCutchen back in the mid 2013, 14, and 15, but just wasn't meant to be.
We got to get somebody from Tampa. They're unbelievable the way they can draft and develop, and I think he's not the general manager, but the guy in charge of their player development, I hate to say this, is a Penn Stater.
Oh, no.
Get somebody from their crew to run things.
Hey, did you see Pitt baseball beat Penn State this week?
Yes, I did.
I just like to bring that up.
But tell Carmen happy birthday, and I'm pulling for John Rahm because he shares the same birthday with my son.
Hey, Rahm's never going to catch Scott. If Scotty has a day like he did yesterday, ain't nobody catching him.
Yeah, but a lot of times after you did it on Saturday, you don't do it on Sunday.
Good point.
Hey, how about this, though, before you hang up, Tim? The big story in golf is what happened to Jordan Spieth? I mean, he had the chance for the career Grand Slam, but I'm looking back at what he did like in 17, 16. Yeah. Man, he's just fallen off the radar.
He worries about his hair too much. You ever see him when he takes his hat off?
Well, he's like me. He's got that hairline that's trying to run out of the building.
And another thing, Rob, the Pirates got to quit wearing those black shirts. That's a big part of their problem.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Although I like the new green uniforms of the Boston Red Sox. You see those?
They have green ones?
Oh, yeah. They're sweet, man.
Well, they got the blue and gold.
I got to tell you, if I could be anything in life, I'd like to be like Bull Durham, and I just got called up by the Oakland Athletics. I'd like to hang out there in Sacramento for a couple of summers.
Hey, they're playing 500 baseball.
I know. I'm telling you, it makes no sense whatsoever.
I'd be there just to hang out with Susan Sarandon. Have a good week, guys.
You're terrible.
Good day.
I still have dreams of Susan Sarandon. In fact, Nana's the new movie on Netflix.
Yeah, we just watched that.
I've been wanting to watch it, and I saw a little freeze-frame picture of her, and she only looks like absolutely beautiful, and I was actually afraid to hit play because I didn't think my heart could take it.
Yeah, she's made a heck of a comeback because she was looking ragged in the last few movies I saw.
Never.
She looked good in that movie.
I absolutely love her. Best movie ever, Atlantic City with Burt Lancaster, 1980, one of his last movies. If you ever get a chance, you're going to absolutely love it.
I watched Frankenstein last night on TCM.
The original?
It was like Frankenstein Remembered or something. No, it wasn't the original. But it was the same story. The blind guy with the guy who catches him on fire and all that. It's
You know where Boris Karloff, who played Frankenstein's from, don't you? Canada. You know what his last name is?
No.
Pratt.
Really?
Spelled like mine. Might be a distant cousin.
Boris Karloff.
That's right.
He was a great cartoon voice of a couple of things, too.
You know what was his favorite salad? Antipasto. We'll take a break. New news, and then it's NFL with Greg Dillers in your Pratt Pack. Ted Arnaud, 30 minutes away.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert.
Executive Director of the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, Rich Fitzgerald, encompassing 10 counties and City of Pittsburgh. As usual, let's start at the airport because you were just there again, and you're saying they're making major progress.
Yeah, I think the report today proved 92, 93%, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Friends, this is Rob Pratt, joined again by John Diagardi of Rome Monuments. John, we've talked a lot about how families should take some time to mourn before selecting a monument. So why do so many people still rush into it?
Well, we're hearing that some folks are under the false impression that they have to buy a monument right away, and even that they have to buy it directly from the cemetery if they want to make sure it will be protected.
And that's just not the case, right?
Not at all, Rob. Rome can design and install a memorial in any cemetery, and no matter which cemetery you choose, our total protection warranty will always remain in effect.
So basically, people should never be pressured into choosing a memorial right away and are never required to buy it from the cemetery.
That's right, Rob.
Thanks so much, John. And folks, you can learn more at romemonuments.com or visit one of their 9 area showrooms.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 68 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. A 12-year-old boy has died after being found in the Monongahela River in Donora. Police say a group of kids called 911 Saturday morning saying they were swimming in the water and were unable to find their friend, the 12-year-old boy. Search and rescue operation started around 10:50 Saturday morning, and that 12-year-old boy was later found around 3:30 p.m. The Washington County coroner identified him as Ronte Lester. The Ringgold School District is providing support to the community with grief counselors. In Duquesne, a man is in stable condition after being shot in both legs. It happened Saturday afternoon around 12:30 in the 1100 block of Cherry Alley in Duquesne, as mentioned. No word on any suspect descriptions. A 16-year-old male was transported to the hospital in stable condition after being shot in the leg. This happened in the Hill District, and it happened in the 600 block of Perry Street Saturday evening. Multiple shell casings were found at the scene. Pittsburgh police say a 13-year-old was shot overnight in the Southside Slopes. It happened around Magdalen Street. Teenager found with gunshot wounds to the chin and chest. Team was transported to the hospital in critical but stable condition. No word on any suspect descriptions. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavidez says one person was killed in an explosion outside of Palm Springs, California fertility clinic.
Several federal agencies, including the ATF and FBI, are investigating the blast. Attorney General Pam Bondi said she's been briefed on the incident and wrote in a statement, "We are working to learn more, but let me be clear. The Trump administration understands that women and mothers are the heartbeat of America. Violence against a fertility clinic is unforgivable." Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
And at least 2 people are dead after a Mexican Navy ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. Here's CBS New York's Zena Maldonado.
Officials telling us that there was nearly 300 people on board this ship while it was sailing here along the East River before colliding into the Brooklyn Bridge. Mayor Eric Adams telling us that 19 people were injured. 2 of those remain in critical condition this morning, while 2 others have died. Now, officials also mentioning that all of those that were injured on board this ship. No one fell into the water.
KDK Radio News Time is 12:03. The AccuWeather forecast coming up next.
Hi, it's Lynn Hayes Freeland, and you know it's a mayoral election year in Pittsburgh, and we're getting a clearer picture of what matters most to voters. Joining me today is Mike Rosenberg, a volunteer with AARP Pennsylvania, to talk about a new nonpartisan poll AARP just released of 50-plus voters in the Steel City. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
So, Mike, what's the big takeaway from this poll?
The headline here is that Pittsburgh voters aged 50 and older will be crucial in deciding the next mayor. The AARP survey shows Democratic challenger Corey O'Connor leading Marietta, gaining 58 to 24%, with 16% still undecided. On the Republican side, Tony Moreno holds a 40-point lead over Thomas West.
So what are the issues top of mind for older voters?
Economic stability, public safety, and access to essential services are front and center. And interestingly, 80% support changing the city ordinances to allow accessory dwelling units, which could help with affordable housing.
Accessory dwelling units. Tell us more about that.
An accessory dwelling unit is a small cottage-like structure or addition to the existing home, such as an in-law suite. ADUs create flexible living arrangements that can help older adults and their families age in place. AARP Pennsylvania supports legislation in Pittsburgh that would make it easier to create ADUs in the city.
So what's the message for candidates?
It's simple. Listen to older voters. Candidates can't afford to ignore this powerful voting bloc.
Indeed. And Mike, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This afternoon, breezy with clouds and a little sun at times. The high 70. We end up clear tonight, low 48. Partly sunny tomorrow, 67. Little sun, 69 Tuesday, with rain arriving Tuesday night. For AccuWeather, I'm Bill Degger, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli.
State lawmakers failed to reach agreements on two high-profile issues on Tuesday. First, a bill to legalize recreational marijuana died in a state Senate committee. House Democrats pushed through a measure without Republican support. The plan to put the Liquor Control Board in charge of selling recreational cannabis rendered the measure dead on arrival. This happened even though 68% of Pennsylvanians want the state to legalize the recreational use of marijuana. Second, a voter ID bill was not taken up to the House, even though polls show support for that is 73%. The inaction is a glaring example of how the two-party system often fails to work for the people. Taxpayers are spending big money for partisan gridlock. Spotlight PA estimates it costs more than $51 million a year for legislative salaries, per diems, office expenses, and more. A lawmaker's base salary is now more than $110,000 a year. It is not unreasonable for the taxpayers of the Commonwealth to expect results, and also why they would be upset.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Brought to you by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
I do hope Don Kelly is going to be here for more than just this year. I mean, you got to give him. He's going to be a manager somewhere. I hope the Pirates at least exhaust every avenue before they make a decision.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I didn't hear any reports or see any reports as to what kind of contract he got to become the manager, if it was already structured into his prior contract and it was just an automatic escalation in salary as he became the manager, or if they had to redo a deal, and if that deal included more than 1 year. Interestingly enough, they definitely were clear that he was not named the interim manager. He was just named manager. So maybe it is. I mean, everybody talks about the Pirates being cost conscious. I'm sure he would be the least expensive of anybody that they could get.
Let me tell you something. You ever been in a major league locker room?
I have not.
All the sunflower seeds you could ever imagine. Every slushy drink, all your favorite like big buckets of Bazooka Joe bubble gum. You could pay me in that, man. I'll tell you, what's going through this young man's mind right now, and everybody's young compared to me and you. Born in Butler, grew up in Mount Lebanon, play at Point Park. You have like 11 years or whatever in the bigs, and you're kind of a role player. You get this opportunity to be with the Pirates, but now you're at that desk, and all those people that you've been reading and watching and listening to for years are gathered around your desk asking you questions. got to be kind of surreal for him a little bit right now.
Yeah, and I think he's struggling a little bit with trying to create an identity or a persona as a manager. He's always been kind of perceived as kind of soft-spoken, mild-mannered. He's trying to get rid of that with all of these ejections and things like that. I don't think that's going to be something that goes way deep into his career as a manager, but he's trying to establish himself to get some respect, not only from around the league, but within his own clubhouse.
All right, listen, I'm going to give you a Rob Pratt analogy. Not that it's this tough, but this is what my dad used to do to me. So help me. And a buddy of mine who used to help me train a little bit. You wear the 16-ounce gloves and you hit the heavy bag. Then you go to the 8-ounce gloves, hit the heavy bag. Then you go to the bag gloves that are used for speed bags that are very thin. And then, in the heat of the night, usually after a couple of icy lights, they get the stopwatch. You basically strip down to your jeans and you're shirtless, and you take the mitts off, and you hit the bag until your hands bleed.
Oh,
and I'll tell you why you do that. Now, listen, I'm not saying I want him to be this tough, but then when those scars heal and calluses build up, your hands are tough and can go through anything. Sometimes you got to feel a little bit of pain, but if you're soft on the outside, sometimes you got to get tough on the inside. And believe me, running out from a dugout up to a major league umpire who's seasoned, been around forever, and you're a rookie, that's a whole lot more difficult than me in that little basement of that ranch home 50 years ago hitting a heavy bag. This kid is toughening himself up right now because he knows he's got to back his guys for them to back him, and he's also got to show these umpires you just can't do what you want to do without me having some sort of approach, maybe saying you're totally wrong. In other words, there's got to be repercussions for everything. I give the kid a lot of credit.
Yeah, especially because, and he picked the right spots. You know, getting in beefs where it's not reviewable. It's not, not something that you can just say, okay, the guy was right or wrong. The swing and miss, the third strike call that really was costly. That was well timed, and he knew what he was doing. I got to wonder, does he go in front of a mirror and do these arguments? Does he rehearse these that well?
Listen, just like me pretending I was James Brown in front of the mirror with a candle as my microphone. Everybody dares to dream. Look, how many times have you as a kid, I'll be honest, out in the backyard, it's the bottom of the ninth, the tying run is at second base. Oh, yeah. It's the World Series. You're in front of the hometown fans. There's 2 outs. There's a pitching change. Sandy Koufax, they're taking him out of the starting rotation because he hasn't pitched in a couple of days, and they need this out. And he's bringing the high heat or the curveball, 1 or 2. And you just sit and wait, and then it breaks, and all of a sudden time slows, and you get everything on that bat. You grip up, and you rip it. And you knew from the moment you hit it, not only is it going to score the tying run, but it's going to go over the right field wall, and you're going to win the World Series.
There you go.
Come on, man. You got to listen. I love Donnie Kelly. I don't even know him. Neil, I know the family, but think about being married into each other's families, and you could eventually be sitting on the bench together of the team that you grew up idolizing. Forget about all the bad press the Pirates have had. That's a good story, man.
It is, hopefully it starts to breed some success. I mean, he started out 3-3. Now he's runs into the buzzsaw in Philadelphia. But let's see what happens. They need to support Skeens a little bit today. They got to figure out a way to scratch some runs early. Let him pitch with a lead. See what he can do.
If he goes 2 games below 500, even though it's early in the season, you don't want that guy hitting the wall because he's so joyful, so happy to be around the game. And right away, there's going to be people chirping in his ear. You don't want to stay here. You could end up a no-name. Your career could be destroyed. Then he starts pounding on the Pirates. I'm just saying they better understand not only is his future at stake, but these young Pirates, if they want to stay with the Pirates and have an opportunity to play here as opposed to getting traded to be a role player somewhere else, they better start hitting today.
I think he's mentally stronger than that to have, the naysayers get into his mindset.
Has he ever had a rough stretch like this as far as wins and losses in his career, I wonder?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, at Air Force, maybe. He certainly didn't at LSU, but
we may never get another pitcher like this in my lifetime anyway. So I think he's the foundation. He's the future.
Robbie, he's only 1 year into his career.
I know,
Let's not
but for
make him the saint. St. Paul.
But for a team, you had to go there, didn't you? But no, for someone that you're just hoping it's going to give you some sort of foundation, and he kind of falls into your lap, and you know what he's capable of doing, and now he's going to be on the world stage next year because he's committed to playing the World Baseball Championships. More eyes are going to be on him. You want to make him feel right at home. You know, and speaking of St. Paul's, maybe St. Paul's Cathedral, he and Livy get married, they get a little home, they raise their family, and they don't want to leave here.
They're leaving. No, come on, is the sky blue in the world you're living in?
I don't know. I just, that would be one thing I'd like to see in my lifetime before I go to the big booth in the sky. I'd like to see the Pirates turn it around.
Oh, I thought you were saying Livy Dunn and Paul Skeens get married in St. Paul's Cathedral.
Oh, that would be kind of nice. And the bishop officiating, I'd be down for that. All right, I don't even know if he's Catholic, but hey, how about today?
The bishop's Catholic, yeah, I can tell you.
I know, Paul Skeens. But how about Leo today? Big inaugurational mass, they're all there. Can you imagine what that must feel like? They're putting the ring on your finger, and you're just like, I got this responsibility. Although the first thing I would do, I don't know if they still play at Comiskey Park or not, but I come back.
They're the first pitch.
Hey, wouldn't that be something?
Would he have to wear all the robes? I mean, it'd be hard to throw with all those flowing robes.
Boy, I got to tell you, if he wants to ignite the Catholic Diocese of Chicago, come out and throw out the first pitch for the Chicago White Sox.
That would be really interesting.
All right, we are going to get to the NFL on the other side as promised, but listen, that's a good story with Gene Lamont, and I just hope it works out. He's a good guy. As is Donnie Kelly, we wish him nothing but the best. And as Jim Leland said, you got to give him a chance. We'll be back with more on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show in just a moment.
Your source for official traffic information. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Brought to you by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, here we go. Time to talk the National Football League. I really am over Aaron Rodgers, so let's just move on from that, and we'll see what happens, even though we're today talking about possible retirement. So we shall see. This Caleb Johnson, this kid who's going to be the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was listening to Najee in an interview the other day, now out with the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, it was kind of sad to hear him talk the way he talked about no rhyme or reason, no future. There was no veterans there for him to really learn from, to lean on. They just had no perspective. In other words, everybody seemed lost. Do you think that's the case, or was he just lost, do you think, because he wasn't getting it done and maybe his perception was a little bit different? I don't want this young man coming in here who has a great skill set to be hearing all of that noise and thinking or maybe perceiving the same thing if he doesn't get started.
Yeah, it feels like sour grapes, to be honest with you, with Najee doing that. But when you do look around the Steelers' offensive side of the ball, is there a veteran presence, a veteran leader anywhere in that group that you could point to and say, hey, this is the guy that you can lean on? I mean, on that offensive side of the ball, who's their longest tenured guy? It might even be Freiermuth for all I know, and he's a pretty young guy. But I can't think of another guy that you would look to be a role model on the offense. Certainly nobody in the running back room, none of the wide receivers, unless you're talking about DK. But DK Metcalf is brand new to the organization, so he's not a leader. So on the offensive side, you might be looking for somebody to say, hey, who can I look to as a role model as a player? Now, obviously, you got coaches and things like that can help pick that up, but offensively, they're rather young and inexperienced.
All right. The other thing, Fatanu coming back after the injury, which was devastating. How much of a factor do you think he will be if he's actually healthy?
Oh, I think that's if they're going to be any good, they need both of those tackles to really step up and be good. And I think there's, from all of the college grades and things that they had, both of those guys were legitimate picks. So Broderick Jones on the left, Fa'anatu on the right. You should have bookends, and this should be the year that they take their steps forward, even though Fa'anatu never really had a chance to do anything. So this is almost like a redshirt rookie year for him. But Broderick Jones has to be able to do some things that turn him into the mauler that everybody expected him to be. And if that takes place, you got Frazier in the middle. So that offensive line should be able to take some pretty good strides.
How about what Campbell said, the young man from New England who's going to be blocking the blind side, protecting the blind side of Drake May? He said, to love this game, you have to love violence.
That's a good point.
I mean, is it really that? Because I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm no offensive lineman. Is it really that violent in the trenches?
See, I don't picture offensive line play. I think that's more technical, making sure you got your right hand placement, but it ultimately comes down to winning a fist fight every play. And I think that's what he's talking about is Joe Moore's line that his favorite thing about offensive line play was moving another human being and taking him to a place where he doesn't want to go. That's what offensive linemen are, designed to do. Defensive linemen are designed to just be as fast, as quick, and as violent as you can be in order to get to the football. So it's almost like a offensive linemen are counter punchers, where defensive linemen are move to it, create the havoc that you need to create as fast as you can.
I was watching a thing with Aaron Donald. How much time he must have put in his basement at Penn Hills growing up. I mean, he
grew up on Churchland Street in Homewood. He didn't live in Penn Hill. He spent 3 weeks in Penn Hills, and they snuck him onto their roster.
But talk about dedication. He's still doing that weightlifting thing, man. Unbelievable.
Well, yeah, but when you create a body like that, and if you don't continue to weight train, you're not going to look real good. So he's doing some real good things with that Ready Nutrition that he's doing now. He's really a guy that you can look at and say, this is a special person, not just a special football player.
Let me ask you something. If the University of Pittsburgh would offer him a coaching position, would he even consider something like that?
No, because it's too much time. He's got a couple of little kids. It's too much time away that you can't be a family guy. And
what about the coaches that are currently in the game now? They got families too, right?
Yeah,
but they don't have the bank.
It's hard.
They don't have the bank. All right, let's take a look at the Steelers football team defensively. T.J. Watt, where's the deal? Is it coming? Are we waiting on Rodgers? What are we waiting on? Where's his money coming from?
Oh, I don't know that they
might let him go one more year.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, everybody's talking about potentially trading him and all the rest. Why would you extend him?
What would you want for him? 2 first rounds?
Oh, in the trade?
At this stage, 30 years of age, at least 1 first round pick.
It might actually be a player, like a player plus a first round pick. A quality wide receiver plus a first round pick, because you want to have something that that's established. I didn't really like the trade of Pickens because it's so far down the road. If you were going to get a draft pick, get it in the year, do that before this past draft, it's too far down the road to even realize that you got anything for him. You just kind of gave up on that guy.
They just wanted rid of him, I think.
Apparently. And Rob, how much of a bad influence was he? I mean, it wasn't like he was getting arrested every day. I mean, every once in a while he threw a fit on the football field. Who cares?
You want to hear something else? So I was watching this tidbit about the wide receivers that went awry with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you realize how many Plexico, Wallace, I mean, it just went on and on. How many wide receivers who have been problem childs that we ended up losing for one reason or the other?
Yeah, but look around the league. That's not an unusual. That's
but
just
why that position?
Because you have to be so fearless, so reckless, and your ego has to be so high. Your thoughts about what you are, it has to be to the point where you believe that there's nothing that you can't do, and sometimes that has to cross the line off the football field into your personal life. You got to be a little bit weird to be a wide receiver because there's such danger involved in. It's almost like being a Formula One race car driver. I mean, you have to take there has to be no caution. What's the word? Throw caution to the wind. That's how you play wide receiver, and when you do that, that's sometimes how you lead your personal life too.
So Antonio Brown, what was it, a rerun of Gunsmoke? I mean, the guy, if he just basically had a permit and he fired the gun in the air and they tried to rob him, I mean, who's wrong here? Okay, you're an attorney now. You can take a look at it from both sides. If you're defending him, don't you think you'd sound more like me?
Well, sure, right. Yeah, but it's. I don't know. I mean, it's just a society statement, but why do we need handguns? I mean, nothing good comes of possessing one at any time. Well, maybe something good. Maybe you protect your assets, but you're getting robbed and you say you shoot and kill someone. Is that really worth it?
Well, listen, I grew up around people who hunt. I used to when I was very small, couldn't do it, didn't like it. My dad always said, though, if you're carrying a gun more times than not, even if it's legally, something bad's going to happen, and it could happen to you.
That's my thought. But I don't want to get off the rails and have people calling me such a softie or a snowflake because I don't think that.
Well, you got to realize, my dad, though, before I saw Fonzie once again, and his great piece of advice, hit them while they're taking their coat off. My dad told me that years ago. As soon as they start taking the coat off, let them have it. And he used to say, hit them in the bridge right up between their eyes. It'll make their eyes water, then you can finish them. I go, thanks for the great advice, Dad. Yeah. But listen, I've been punched in the face. I don't like being punched in the face. I'm a big baby. It hurts.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to play a sport where it feels as though you're getting punched in the face every time?
It's a different mentality, a different guy. You have to have a different makeup. Why would anybody want to be a boxer? But I've talked to some guys that are boxers, and it's like that wakes them up. It creates something special.
Listen, I've been hit with boxing gloves, and not to say that it's nice, but compared to what they do in the MMA and the UFC,
geez, yeah.
I mean, they're hitting them with the back of their hand. They're kneeing them to the face. I mean, I get it. It's a combat sport, and most of these guys have a wrestling background. And the women are, like this Holly Holmes is an incredible athlete. I mean, I give them all the credit in the world. And then you have Jake Paul going to do it again. But this time he's taking on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. His father was my all-time favorite Mexican fighter, along with Salvador Sanchez and, of course, Oscar De La Hoya, but his father was the Gladiator, only lost twice in like 85 fights, and he's now 40, junior. But Jake Paul, man, he just continues to rake in the money with this stuff.
It's amazing. Did he even fight like through the amateur ranks or?
No, he was a kid. He was a Disney kid on the Disney Channel. The guy's very talented, and he's worked himself into pretty good shape. But the crowds that follow him.
Right.
I mean, even Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was there. I mean, it's mind-boggling, and it'll be a multi-gazillion-dollar pay-per-view ticket. And it might actually be a pretty good fight. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Stay with us. Ted on the other side, talking everything that's the NFL.
At Penn West University, we're making college make sense again for people who maybe thought college wasn't the answer. we're making college practical with programs tied to in-demand jobs that prepare you for success right away. We're making college accessible by breaking down barriers and offering more choices. We're making college approachable with faculty who understand where you're coming from and help you get where you're going. At Penn West, we're making college valuable again for people just like you. Learn more at pennwest.edu.
The legacy continues with a special rock celebration live. A trip to their massive hits and fan favorites. 3 decades. Over 22 million albums sold. One night only. Friday, July 25th. The Event Center at Rivers Casino. Live. Tickets on sale now at riverscasino.com. Don't miss Live.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times. But when you need us, we're here for you. And we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 68 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Overnight, Pittsburgh police say a 13-year-old was shot multiple times in the Southside Slopes. Shooting happened around 2:45 this morning on Magdalen Street. A teenager found with gunshot wounds to the chin and chest. That teen was transported to the hospital in critical but stable condition. No word on any suspect descriptions. Also on the south side, a man in critical condition after being hit by a train. It happened around 11 o'clock Saturday night near South 12th and Wesley Streets. The man suffered a cut to the head. Norfolk Southern, the company that runs that train that struck the man, is leading the investigation. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides says one person was killed in an explosion outside of Palm Springs, California fertility clinic.
Several federal agencies, including the ATF and FBI, are investigating the blast. Attorney General Pam Bondi said she's been briefed on the incident and wrote in a statement, "We are working to learn more, but let me be clear. The Trump administration understands that women and mothers are the heartbeat of America. Violence against the fertility clinic is unforgivable." Christian Benavides, CBS News.
KDK Radio News Time, 12:31. Next updates at 1. I'm Rob Taylor, the voice of Pittsburgh News Radio KDK.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, Debt Blue is here for you. With Debt Blue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it, and the team at Debt Blue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
The weekend ends on a breezy note this afternoon. Clouds and a little sun at times, high 70. Clearing tonight, low 48. Sun tomorrow, 67. More clouds Tuesday near 70. Rain then Tuesday night. For AccuWeather, I'm Bill Degger, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, we'll be back to it on Monday. Can't wait. We'll get the week started right. And, so join me, 2 to 6, Colin Dunlap right here, KDKA.
You know, iced coffee is a big deal today, but I've been drinking iced coffee forever. My mind goes so fast. I have so many news and notes. I always get a hot cup of coffee, and by the time I get to the coffee, it's ice cold. Come on, man. Give me a hot cup of coffee. All right, here he is, always hot on the topic of the NFL, Mr. Ted Arnaud. Teddy, good to be here. And Mr. Irrelevant is now worth $265 million, $181 million guaranteed. 5 years, you got to be happy for Brock Purdy. I mean, sometimes lightning does strike, does it not? Good afternoon.
It's to be that relevant. It was the right time and performed. So, in order to get
well, you know, I think if you're an NFL fan or you're a young kid playing the game, if that guy can end up making that kind of bank, anything's possible. Good for him, Greg.
Yeah, it really is good, especially from my business viewpoint. It's good for anybody to hit numbers like those, basically $53 million a year. And with the key part of that contract, obviously, is the amount that's guaranteed. That being $180 million of it. There were very few contracts that you read those gaudy numbers, the hundreds of millions of dollars, but a lot of guys didn't get to the end of those contracts, so didn't realize all of those numbers. The real important part of any of these contracts is what's the guarantee, and he really kind of struck it rich on that, coming from a situation where he was the last guy drafted, the last thought in the whole process, and for him to do what he's done, especially because the criticism of him is he's a system guy. All he does is operate the system within what Shanahan was doing, and now with some coaching shakeups there, is he going to be the same effectiveness as he did? We're going to find out. I imagine that he will still be very good. He's had a little dinged up arm and occasionally and things of that nature. So I don't know that I would have invested that kind of money in him, but somebody would have, and that's the key.
Is it because they're such a rare commodity?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That's a lot of money to give a guy who you still wonder if he can deliver.
Yeah, well, and I think he'll be consistent enough, and that's one of the things about him is he doesn't have a tremendous ceiling, but he has a tremendous floor. Like you're not going to get terrible play out of him. You're going to get consistent things, and that's important to them, especially with the weapons that they put around him. Although their weapons are falling apart a little bit too with Ayuk, and they should have moved off of Ayuk last year when they had that real great trade market.
Would it have been any different if he's with the Steelers as opposed to DK Metcalf? That's one time I'm glad it worked out that DK Metcalf is with the Steelers.
Yeah, we'll still find out. I don't think you completely closed the door on Ayuk, but he's probably on the downside. And how fast that happens, right? From the time that you're the most sought after commodity to all of a sudden, hey, maybe I'm going to have to find a job.
Oh, yes, I know it well. I get it. I see it every day. Riding high in April, shot down in May. All right, Teddy is back. So, Teddy, is he worth that kind of money?
Well, that's going to be told over the next 4 or 5 years, isn't it? They think he is. He works well with their team and their system. Obviously, finding a very talented, worthwhile quarterback is key. If you go back and look at the Super Bowl champions over the last 5, 6 years, maybe more than that. But obviously they think he is, and I hope he is. I like the 49ers, the DeBartolo family and their legacy. So I hope he's well worth all the money they're paying him.
You know what, Ted? Oh, I'm sorry, Rob.
Go ahead.
You know, one of the things that you get when you have these quarterbacks who come out of the block so fast, they are really good because they're on their rookie deals. They're not costing their team hardly anything against the cap, and then the team is therefore able to supplement them with talent around them because they don't have to use up money on their quarterback. Now you're using about 20% of your cap on your quarterback. You lessen the possibilities of giving him great talent surrounding him, and that's where these guys need to learn to step up. So either they're going to continue to be great, like the Chiefs were able to do with Mahomes, but sometimes when you put all your money in your quarterback, like the Cowboys had to do with Dak Prescott, then you don't have the weapons around him.
Well, I think what you need to look at is, have they done that? Have they really taken the time over the last 2 or 3 years, recognizing that this was coming up, and got the pieces that they feel were needed during the period of time where they weren't allocating all that money to them? But that's where management comes in. These guys have a tough job, and you got to play both sides of that. You got to build while you got the lower cap, and then you got to be ready to adjust when you do have the higher cap. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, I hope for the 49ers' sake it works out.
Yeah, and I think that they are positioned now. I think if you had to put a shekel or two on who's going to be one of the NFC's best teams, I think that probably you're going to be looking at the 49ers as being up among them. We'll see if the Rams can come back, but that division has been very fruitful over the last few years with both the Rams and 49ers getting to Super Bowls.
All right, so let's talk. We know about wide receivers, obviously Cooper Kupp and Puka in that part of the country, and we've got our own in DK Metcalf, no longer on the West Coast but playing here in the Steel City. But throw into the equation what the running back has done. So Derrick Henry gets a new 2-year deal worth $30 million. So you got quarterback making big bank, wide receivers making big bank, guys like T.J. Watt making a big bank, and now you start giving this kind of money to an aging running back who uses his body as a battering ram. Where's all this money coming from? And your answer as an agent would be, they've got the money.
Oh, yeah, the ownership has the money. We talk about this quite often as far as putting money in the running back position. Henry seems to be like one of those guys that's a good bet. Saquon Barkley, that's a good bet. You put the money in those guys. And Henry's only, but you look at it, he's one of the most talked about figures in the National Football League, and he only gets $15 million a year. It's upside down, isn't it, Ted? I mean,
he made $8 last year, so he got a raise. But it's still funny what you just said. Go ahead, Teddy.
Well, Greg's making a good point. Yes, he's getting a lot of money. Yes, it's a big percentage increase over where he was. But if you look at the whole scheme of things and take what these quarterbacks are getting and some of the other positions, he's well deserving of that. And there's very few running backs that are going to qualify for that kind of a pay. So you got to grab them when you can. And we still don't see that many running backs coming up that's going to fill those kind of shoes that those two have done last year. So it's going to be interesting, but I think I love watching those two running backs. So I think they're well worth the money.
Ted, when his agent went into that negotiation, he took the two plays in the Steeler playoff game last year when Henry ran through them for like 30-yard touchdown runs, and there were Steelers strewn across the field like bowling pins, and said, I don't need to discuss this any further, fellas. Just pay my client.
You got it. All he's got to, and they couldn't catch him. So not only did he bowl him over, he was running away from him. So he's got and he can catch the football if he needs to. So he's kind of the big triple threat that way. He's a great player. Saquon's a great player. Let's hope that we can start nurturing some of those here in the Steel City.
Hey, Ted, I was telling Rob earlier I had a few shekels on the number 9 horse in the Preakness yesterday, and he's running away with the race, and journalism gets bounced around by 3 horses, just kind of almost knock him off his feet, and then he comes through that thing and wins the race. I'm thinking that could have been that horse, if it were a running back, would be the greatest running back of all time.
He's a good horse. he's a really good horse, obviously, and the next race I think is going to be the most exciting of them all. So you're going to have journalism in there. You're going to have the winner of the.
Will Sovereignty come back for that?
I think Sovereignty is going to come back, and it's going to make it an incredible race. You will see some. You want to talk about shekels? You're going to have to reach in to get whatever is the bigger denomination above a shekel. You better get ready to bet that one because it's going to be great.
It'd be hard to have journalism as a running back, though, because he probably doesn't have good hands.
But one thing he does have is a nose for football. All right.
When he gets sad, he always has a long face.
Little hitch in his giddy up, as Teddy likes to say.
He's got a good tailback position.
Listen, they are amazing athletes. I really believe that these horses should be considered athletes. All right, we're going to talk some schedule stuff when we come back on the other side. But I'm going to give credit to my overnight producer, the great Greg Finley, and it was really blowing up via the media the day after, and they did never mention it until I heard it from Greg, and he never heard it anywhere until the next day. Do you think that the Steelers getting 3 primetime games, including the Jets to open the season, another game to be looking at because of former Steeler Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers, that maybe the NFL knows that there is a deal really pretty much that just needs to be signed, and Aaron Rodgers is someone that you definitely would want to tune in to watch? Do you think they have any idea, and maybe ahead of time, that this deal is already done or soon to be done? That's why they would put the Steelers in 3 primetime games, or is it just because the Steelers are an historic franchise in the National Football League? Greg, you first.
Yeah, Ted, my opinion is that they know the Steelers are the Steelers and they attract eyeballs. I think they're also hoping that it includes Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think that was a main cog in that decision-making process.
I got to agree with you, Greg. No, he's going to put a whole bunch of credence on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, because I'm not sure Aaron Rodgers knows what he's going to do right now. He's got to go with Blue Velvet or whoever that gal was and have what's that stuff that they use, Greg? You know it.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, that's it.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me take a break. I can't even grow tomatoes, and you're talking ayahuasca. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll come back. One more segment. We're going global with the Steelers in Dublin against Minnesota on September the 28th. This game that is the National Football League is becoming a worldwide commodity. It's amazing. That's next with Ted, Craig, and me, your Pratt Pack on KDKA.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Hey, folks, it's Marty. NASCO Roofing, the region's roofing leader. Wow, they're good. They continue to exceed customer expectation. For instance, Charles from Bethel Park highly recommends NASCO. Charles was pleased with NASCO's exemplary customer service and the quality of their work. NASCO has satisfied thousands like Charles. Now's the time to get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO Roofing, 412-373-2000, 412-373-2000. Most jobs done in a day. Special financing available. NASCO, NASCO.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas. For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Call 724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
Judge Michelle Santacola is running for a seat on the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. With decades of legal experience and currently serving as magisterial district judge, Michelle Santacola has always applied fairness and integrity to the thousands of cases she has presided over. She is highly recommended by the Allegheny County Bar Association and widely endorsed by various labor organizations.
I'm Judge Michelle Santacola. I'd be honored to earn your vote on May 20th.
Paid for by Friends of Michelle Santacola.
Senator John Fetterman raised concerns about aggressive vehicle mandates, and he's right. Pennsylvanians need affordable, reliable transportation. No one should tell us what we can and can't drive. Mandates could limit consumer choice, raise costs, and threaten Pennsylvania jobs. Senator Fetterman can protect working families and defend our economy. Tell Senator Fetterman to stand up for Pennsylvania, repeal the gas car ban. Take action at energycitizens.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Brought to you by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, here we go. Let's wrap up the hour by talking about the global entity that's the National Football League. Look, just for the sheer fact, wouldn't you love to be in Dublin to watch the Steelers play the Minnesota Vikings in September? I mean, I wish my friend Mr. Dan Rooney was still alive to see it. That's pretty cool stuff, Greg.
It's cool stuff, but if I'm going to Ireland, I'm not wasting my time watching the Steelers play the Minnesota Vikings. I want to see the country. I want to do something.
Hey, thank you for that Hallmark moment, Greg.
Not only that,
Christmas.
but in Dublin, there are so many great pubs, great old Irish pubs. I wouldn't want to go to the game. I'd want to be sitting in one of those pubs watching the game, and they have a ball. So, I mean, it's going to be a blowout for the city of Dublin. And those people, some of the nicest people in the world, and what a great treat for the Rooney's, Irish Catholic family, former ambassador to Ireland to get this. It's kind of a Hallmark made-for-TV moment.
I love it. I think it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, Ted, that's the same to me as people asking me, are you going to go to the U.S. Open? I'm saying, if I get a nice day, I'm not going to go watch some other hammerheads play golf. I'm going to go play myself.
Yeah, that's right. And you can either watch the recap. You'll always be done by the time they finish, so you can watch the end. Or else most people would be done. I'd probably still be out there, but you can always watch the end. And let's face it, in golf, it's the last two holes of the whole tournament.
Hey, I'm sorry. Anyway. I disagree with both you knuckleheads. You've never been there during the U.S. Open. It's like a religious experience, and I talked about it many times. 94, I pulled up, and I was standing in the bleachers that looked down the fairway of the 18th, and it looked like Jurassic Park. All these little people. I mean, the sea of humanity. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's just it's a marvelous experience, and if you get a chance, you need to make the most of it and be a part of it. Now, when you look at the National Football League, what's the end result? I mean, how much more can they grow? So is the only way for them to grow, gentlemen, because they're getting all the TV money, they're getting the streaming money, they're getting ticket prices, they're getting merchandise, is the only way for them to continue to add to that dividend for the 32 owners is to go outside the country and bring in more cash? Teddy, is this the only way they grow? Is this the final frontier for the National Football League?
No, I don't think it is at all. I think what they're doing is, if anything, they're expanding their TV base. Yeah, they can sell tickets to go to a foreign city. That's great, but that's not where the money is. But if they can expand the number of eyes watching the games to have more of an international feel, and as they move ever closer, like we've been talking about, way ahead of almost anybody, to where all of these games are going to be streaming, they're going to be streaming all over the world, creating that marketing base that any business would want. And they've got one of the best business platforms in the whole world.
You know what the problem is with this, guys? These owners aren't real people. These owners are rich guys that live on yachts, that live in billion-dollar houses and compounds and all that stuff. Forget about the Joey Shuley that grew up on Atwood Street that wants to go see a Steelers home game. They don't care about that guy anymore. Joey Shuley, in order to watch the Steelers play the Vikings, has to go to Ireland to see the game.
Yeah, but I'm going to disagree with you here, Greg. What's going to happen is they're going to be making all their money on the top line through all these other ways, these other income streams. I think it could eventually drive the price of real game tickets lower so that Joey Bag of Donuts can go watch the game if he wants to.
All right, I hope you're right, because my guys can't go see him anymore.
Here's what's ironic. I'm not going to say two great minds think alike, because Ted obviously didn't go to the same school I did, closed cover before striking. The bottom line is Teddy is right, and I think in a roundabout way, because there'll be so many platforms and so much money, and they don't want to lose the fan base because that's the backdrop. That adds the scene. You got to get people in the stands, and if you can get hardcore football fans in there where they can save some money and get back to tailgating, we could actually see a complete turnaround as far as fan participation at the stadium, Teddy.
I agree. I mean, I think that's where this is going, because your rate of return, your gross margins on the streaming income is going to be so high, but people don't want to watch a streamed game with an empty stadium. That's not what they want. They want screaming. They want yelling. They want all of the songs that get played during the game. They want to watch the cheerleaders, except for when they're watching the Steelers, of course. But they want the whole show. And so you've got to keep that whole show going if you're the NFL, even if you've got these games all over the place.
But, Ted, you got to give the regular guy a chance to go to you got to keep the tickets under $100. Keep a beer under $40 for a they sell you a beer. You got to buy a 24-ounce can of beer. It's like you need both hands to drink the stupid thing. Make it reasonable.
I agree with you, but I think this could be the dynamic that causes them to make these prices different, that they don't need that profit center, that there are other profit centers. And my contention is, if you've got your stream all over the world and you got these people watching, you're going to want to make sure that that stadium's filled. And the way you make sure the stadium's filled, you get Joey Bag of Donuts and the other guys to come in, you make it a lower price beer. You make the tickets lower, but they're screaming, yelling, and it makes for the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And if you watch even like the college games, they kind of instruct the camera guys, don't show the upper deck that doesn't have any people in it. You know, do you get the angles that show only the student section that's jammed and everybody's having a good time? Don't show the other end of the stadium where there's 4 guys sitting 8 rows apart, so that and there doesn't need to be anybody in between them.
You know, one of the things that this generation is missing, and I covered the Steelers during the Three Rivers Day for years, being there with all the tailgaters, and there was nothing better than a Browns-Steelers game. Somebody should buy a piece of real estate, leave it empty, call it the tailgate, get some of those wooden sawhorses, get some kegs of Iron City, some charcoal grills, and throw some steaks, chops, and dogs, and just let people actually experience what a real tailgate is. I love the North Shore. I love the bars. I love the atmosphere. But I think real fans who have never experienced a true tailgate that we experienced growing up, they're really missing out on something. That really, in my opinion, was the heart of the fans. That's when football was at its best, Greg.
Yeah, I agree. You need somebody that shows up at 7 a.m. for a 4 o'clock game, throws up at noon, starts drinking again. And...
See, Teddy, I think you and him are in cahoots, man. Because this last segment always goes right in the tank.
Well, now he's not sure they're throwing up in the tank.
I have, for the last couple of years, midnight on a Friday and Saturday, when I'm exhausted after 20 hours on the radio, putting notes for these shows. I'm not doing any more notes. I'm done. No more script, no more notes. I'm jumping up on the biggest Bronco bull, and I'm saying, let me out of the gate. Let me out of the gate.
He's making us feel guilty, Ted. He's no more fun.
Notes.
He's turning this into the NFL, the no fun league.
Well, you know what? I actually had some really pertinent stuff there, and it gets all thrown out the window because of this sheer nonsense. Teddy, have yourself a great rest of the day.
Here's the Joey Bag of Donuts. That's all I got to say.
See you, Teddy.
He's probably the only one that would return my call. So what's up today? What's on the menu?
Dad wants kibasi and sauerkraut, so we're doing a little kibasi sour. Watching Buccos. The pool's new pool heater.
Oh wow! Listen, you're getting on these owners. You're driving around in a Tesla, a new heater for your pool, a pickleball court.
The water's 85 degrees as we speak, so I'll probably we'll swimming.
Take a dip.
Yes, sir.
All right, Greg. And again, happy birthday to your father-in-law. Listen, folks, have a great day. We're going to be back with you this week from 6 until 10. Big mayor's race coming up, that election on Tuesday. We'll have everything for you right here at KDKA. Make it a great day. Good afternoon.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Executive Director of the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, Rich Fitzgerald, encompassing 10 counties and city of Pittsburgh. As usual, let's start at the airport because you were just there again, and you're saying they're making major progress.
Yeah, I think the report today proved 92, 93%, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Pittsburgh Speaker Series presented by University of Pittsburgh announces its 25-26 season at Heinz Hall. 7 events will broaden your perspective and deepen your understanding of the world around you. Featuring Dr. Anthony Fauci, Malcolm Gladwell, historian Doris Kearns Goodwin, former National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, and National Geographic photographer Christina Mittermeier. The series is sponsored by News Radio KDKA and the Spanos Group of Raymond James. Tickets on sale now at pittsburghspeakers.org.
Asbestos-related deaths in Allegheny County are 50 to 100% higher than the national average. In a city defined by its history with steel making, many local area tradesmen and steel workers were exposed to asbestos on the job and are now suffering from lung cancer or mesothelioma. If you have been diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma, you may be entitled to compensation, even if you smoked. For a free consultation, contact the Pittsburgh-based law firm Goldberg, Persky & White at 1-800-COMPLEX or online at gpwlaw.com.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 68 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 1 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police continued to investigate this afternoon after a 13-year-old was shot overnight multiple times in the Southside Slopes. Shooting happened around 2:45 this morning around Magdalen Street. Teenager was found with gunshot wounds to the chin and chest. Teen was transported to the hospital in critical but stable condition. No word on any suspect descriptions this afternoon. In the Hill District, a 16-year-old male was transported to the hospital in stable condition after being shot in the leg. It happened Saturday evening in the 600 block of Perry Street. There were multiple shell casings found at the scene. No word on any suspects. A man is in stable condition after being shot in both legs. This happened Saturday afternoon in Duquesne in the 1100 block of Cherry Alley, and no suspect descriptions in that shooting as well. Well, a man is in critical condition after being struck by a train late Saturday night. Happened on the south side around South 12th and Wesley Streets around 11 o'clock. Man suffered a cut to the head. Norfolk Southern, the company that runs the train that struck the man, is leading that investigation. Well, Pope Leo XIV's inauguration mass was held today in St. Peter's Square. CBS News reporter Sabrina Castafranco has more details.
Pope Leo XIV first made his debut tour of the square in an open-top Pope-mobile, blessing a cheering crowd, waving American, Peruvian and Vatican flags. Then during the Mass, in his homily, Leo said he wanted to be a servant to the faithful through the 2 dimensions of the papacy, love and unity.
And at least 2 people were dead after a Mexican Navy ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. Here's CBS New York's Zena Maldonado.
Officials telling us that there was nearly 300 people on board this ship while it was sailing here along the East River before colliding into the Brooklyn Bridge. Mayor Eric Adams telling us that 19 people were injured. 2 of those remain in critical condition this morning, while 2 others have died. Now, officials also mentioning that all of those that were injured on board this ship. No one fell into the water.
3 local teachers among the finalists to be Pennsylvania's 2026 Teacher of the Year. The Department of Education revealed the 12 finalists Friday, and among them are Catherine Blandino-Ninehouse from the Pittsburgh Public Schools, also Rebecca Showalter of Mount Lebanon, and Jennifer Nesser of Laurel Highlands. Teacher of the Year will be revealed at a December ceremony. KDKA Radio News Time 103, the AccuWeather forecast next.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Experience, leadership, equity, and integrity represent how Sheriff Kevin Krause effectively serves Allegheny County. Paul Martino here, supporting the re-election of Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause. Kevin's proven commitment to public safety, his exemplary law enforcement principles, and his decades of local law enforcement service are key reasons to re-elect him as sheriff.
I'm Sheriff Kevin Krause. I'd be honored to earn your vote on May 20th.
Paid for by friends of Kevin Krause for sheriff.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The